What is up, fragrance family? How you doing out there on YouTube land? Thanks for joining me here on my channel, Steven Sturgill. I'll be your host for the next couple minutes. Let's get into it, guys. What are we talking about today? Guerlain Oud Essentiel, part of their Les Absolus collection. And so I ordered their triple package. It's a sampler pack. Comes with this guy, the Oud Essentiel, or Essential. This guy, which we'll take a look hopefully in the next video, which is Amber Eternal. This is pretty special. And where is my third? This is maybe even more special. Santal Royal. Royal. So this obviously comes in a very, very beautiful bottle. If you buy the bottle, it comes in this very old school throwback design. Sort of a very, very dark forest green, similar to old Jaguar. Gold cap, gold crest or emblem, some tassel action. Looking like a very old turn of the century, or even pre-turn of the century. Really harkening back to the late 1700s, and in fact, to some extent, certainly the early 1800s at the very least. Okay, and it says here, to create the new fragrance in the Absolus d'Orient collection, Guerlain Perfumery Thierry Wasser drew his inspiration from the unique and precious oud wood. The fragrance is a majestic celebration of this rare ingredient, which reveals its true strength and sensuality, both mellow and intense. This woody leather fragrance blends the mysterious notes of leather and frankincense and the sweet notes of Bulgarian rose in a subtle alchemy, a unique olfactory encounter between East and West. Okay, nice little blurb. Hey, it says free sample. It wasn't free to me. Oh, well. I already used this up, guys. I wore this the other day as my scent of the day. And I just sprayed the last of it here on this wrist. So unfortunately, you won't see the little tiny spritz or get anything out of there. I wonder if I can pop the top out. Anyways. Nope. Okay, let's talk about the notes first, and then we'll get into what I think about the scent. This dropped in 2017, I believe. So last year. It is unisex. Parent company is LVMH, Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton, or Vuitton. That's a huge, huge company, sort of a conglomerate. At any rate, you're going to get in the top notes saffron, pelargonium, heart notes agar wood, rose, or Bulgarian rose, Atlas cedar wood. And finally, the base, you're getting leather, incense, and guaiac or gaiac wood, however you want to say it. They're both correct, but country dependent for those reasons. Guaiac is the correct French pronunciation, and gaiac, I believe, is the correct. Or did I have that reversed? At any rate, whatever. Okay, let me preface this. First off, this is a $200 thereabouts. I think going as high as full on retail, I think, is either $225 or $230 a bottle, but you can very often find it online for about between $150 and $185. So let's say you find it for $150. That's still a little bit pricey, but not a bad deal for an upper tier sort of niche or uber high-end designer. I don't know how you want to view the house of Guerlain. I think they're not exactly niche. I would say they're uber high-end designer because they're not a tiny house, and they don't make oddball crazy concoctions, if you will. You know, they're tried and true. They have a long cultural history, obviously in France. So that's my personal take on the house, but feel free to disagree. At any rate, my feeling on the subject matter of Western ouds is the fact that they all kind of smell the same to a point. You know what I mean? They all tend to follow a very, very generic basic recipe, which works. I'm not complaining. You tend to have your agar, some kind of wood note, some kind of musk. Definitely, they almost all have rose, and they all have oud. You know, whether or not that's from the agar or whether or not it's an abstract oud that apes real oud from using other elements, doesn't really matter. It still all follows the same generic pattern and formula to a large extent. I'm not saying they're carbon copies of one another, but you know what I mean? We all know in Fracom, guys, that if you own 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 ouds, for the most part, they're all going to have dramatic similarities. Yes, they're going to be distinct. Yes, some are going to be powerhouses. Yes, some are going to be way, way dialed back and softer and more woodsy or what, but at the same time, they're all going to share a lot of similarities, at least in my experience. They're not all as good. They're not all strong. They're not all as organic. I get that. I more than get it. But at the same time, um, they tend to be highly, highly similar for the most part. Um, at least within a certain range. Okay. Mini rant or whatever personal take over. This does open with a little bit of that Band-Aid petroleum note. So prevalent and common amongst a lot of oud-based scents, especially Western, maybe all based. I don't know. Maybe even in the East, that's a thing. Also, it smells somewhat prototypical of the modern day Western take. Also, it has a strange little light candy note that is quite common to a lot of modern and maybe even older Guerlain fragrances. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know if that's something endemic to Guerlain's approach. If they find that that's part of their signature scent DNA, I guess. I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine, but it's there in a lot of their frags. And I'm not saying it's bad. It's just a little bit oddball. I don't think I personally go in for candy notes in most of my fragrances, but maybe women like that type of vibe more than men. I don't know. This is a unisex, but I feel like they're really, really trying to appeal to women almost more than men in this fragrance. So that's kind of a slight detractor. The scent is nice. It wears easy on the skin. It's soft. You're not going to blow anyone out of the cubicle if you wear this to work. As long as you don't just go, 20 gazillion sprays all over your body like I might do. If you just keep it to 3 or 4, this is a quite soft. This is a very soft for an oud fragrance, and I think they made it very, very wearable. It's probably easily enjoyable by most people. Certainly, it's not going to be everyone's pick of the day. It's not going to be to everyone's taste. But if you are open or you do like oud-based scents, this is a very nice, inoffensive, soft, woodsy, a little bit of that candy vibe going on. The oud is not that powerful for me. I mean, I've had way, way stronger oud scents. So for me, this is dialed way, way back. It's even softer for me than, for example, it's way, way less pungent than like John Varvatos. This guy's way, way, way more nuclear and more raw or whatever, pungent. And it's even a lot softer than like His Majesty the Oud by Atkinson's. This is fairly nuclear and will last and last and last and last and project and project and project and project. Strangely, this Guerlain is not at all a projection beast. I was quite disappointed with the projection, at least on my skin. It's very modest. I can smell it very easily if I go right up on the skin. But if I keep it like right out here, I can barely smell it. I can smell it, but just about maybe like 2%. You know what I mean? So whereas with this guy, this fills the room, as does the Varvatos or Varvatos. So not a projection beast. I find that quite disappointing, but maybe I understand some of the reasons. Longevity in my skin wasn't great. It was about maybe 6 to 7 hours tops, with only about maybe really only 1 hour of active projection, and then it quickly died down to a very modest scent bubble slash strong skin scent. So I'm fairly disappointed with the longevity, the sillage, and the projection. But if you can find this on a discount, I've seen it as low as 148 US online, and you don't mind dropping money like that, it is an interesting, good, soft, all around, well blended, very balanced scent. But again, I think it definitely should have and could have been a lot stronger, at least in terms of active projection, longevity, and sillage. And I really think the oud should have been more front and center, whereas it's definitely been dialed back and somewhat neutered by that other blend that we got into earlier. You know, the Gaiac wood or Guaiac wood, the Atlas cedar, I assume. The leather does come out as it dries down, but it's very soft, a little animalic, a little synthetic, not all that pungent, but it's a nice note. It's a nice enough accord. I think there is geranium. Certainly the rose stays ever present almost into the dry down, and then it just pretty much vapes off and disappears in the long dry down. At some point, it just disappears off the skin. But like I said, it's fairly atypical for Western European oud-based takes or takes on attars and ouds out of the Middle East. It's safe. It's friendly. It's a good scent. Would I call it great? I personally wouldn't for its couple of significant flaws, but I'm sure there are probably some people out there that absolutely fell in love with this scent. I'm not mad at you. You know, rock what you want to rock, like what you want to like. That's just my personal 2 cents. That's gonna do it, guys. I've got to get on. Got some things to do. Got to go eat. Thanks for joining me and stopping by. And if you didn't catch the show later on replay, spray often, spray well. Live life on your terms, not someone else's. Love you guys. Peace out. And remember to click the bell for future updates and subscribe if you like what I'm doing. If not, there's a million other shows to watch on YouTube and probably hundreds of other fragrance reviewers. So all the best. Have a great December if I don't see you again. If you don't see me again anytime soon. Yeah. Have a good winter. We'll see you next time, guys. Peace out.